shared. Okay. Welcome everyone to today's module on report management. We'll start with just a general overview of all the reports that are available within Edge and how to access all those reports. And then I'll switch to the Edge to show you where you can find those within Edge and how to add filters to these reports. Okay, so we'll start with the Reports tab overview. The reporting function in Edge allows administrators to report on real-time data for patient, accrual, project information, forms fields, and for multiple or individual projects. All reporting information within Edge can be extracted and presented in a formatted Excel spreadsheet, PDF, or CSV file for distribution by local administrators. So first, I'll start with the participant reports. So the accrual report under the participant reports tab allows you to track the number of patients that have been screened, rejected, recruited, and withdrawn from your organization over a period of time. This is a pre-built report within Edge that you can apply a limited number of filters to. Filters such as your site, project type, project status, and project phase. You can also change the period of time that you are looking at. Participant reports, forms reports. So the participant forms reports enable you to build customized reports based on the core information recorded in Edge and the patient forms and fields you have created. So for those of you that are familiar with 3CTN reporting, we have a pre-built report for you that is to track priority patients recruited, so AYA and remote access patients. This is all tracked in the participant forms report. So it allows you to look at patient related data and some project data as well. Participants monitoring report. So the monitoring report allows local administrators to quickly produce reports on participant accrual demographics, such as the local number and subject ID, and participant status dates. These reports can be filtered by project, project type, project status, sites, and phases. So again, it's another pre-built report within the system that you can apply a limited amount of filters to. Project reports. So under the project reports tab, you can access the overview report. It is a static report that has been developed in order to allow an organization to view the recruitment and core project fields over a month period or a month by month period. So you can choose the date at the top of which period you're looking at. The notes report. So the notes report allows you to quickly search for notes added to projects, project sites, and run reports on those notes. So you can see the original note and any comments related to that note within this report. You can download to Excel for more analysis, or you can click on the plus sign to see any replies to those notes. Project reports, forms reports. So similar to the participant forms report, this is a highly customizable report for the project level. Enables you to build customized reports based on the core information recorded in Edge and any project and project site forms fields you have created. You can also get aggregate patient data into this report. So just the overall total of total recruitment for participants, first patient recruited date, that type of information. You won't be able to get patient-specific information, so information such as subject ID, date recruited, date screened, and all that information. So this is a project level form. You can limit the recruitment numbers at the top of the page to limit the recruitment figures by a date range. So if you're only looking for total recruitment of a certain fiscal year, you can set the dates at the top and get an accurate count of recruitment through this report. Okay, to create a project forms report, you need to build, it is a totally customizable report. So when you go to the project forms report, you're going to get a blank template. So you're going to have to start by adding fields to this report to build out the report. You also have the option to load previously built reports by going to the load button to load previously saved reports. But if you're starting from scratch, you'll add fields by clicking the add field button, and you can search to the queries or search the fields in order to find the certain fields you want to add. You just click on add, and you can go to the next field and add that field, and so forth until you're done. And then you can close the search or select field window. To help present your report in the most user-friendly way, Edge enables you to move the select fields up and down within the list. So you can easily rearrange the data so that it comes out in a more approachable manner. So the order they're listed under the field section are going to be the order that they come out in the Excel in columns. To complete the report, you can just hit the run button at the bottom to see the information that comes out based on your data fields. Jen, you have a question?
Hey, thanks, James. Just a question. If I put no filters on that report, would it automatically default to pulling from only my organization, or does it actually pull everything from Edge?
So for your reports, like if you're pulling a project report, depending on the fields you have, if you just have project short title, site name, phase, it'll only pull projects that you have organization involvement in.
Okay.
But it can pull site level information, like the site details page information from other sites that are involved in that project. So if you wanted to limit it to your own site, you would have to put your site name in, either add the site field so you know which site information is being pulled, or add the site field and add your site name as a filter to limit it to your own sites.
Okay, but if I ran a report of just like project short title, it wouldn't give me projects that my organization's not even listed as a site for. It would start by just giving me my organization projects.
It should limit it to only the projects your organization's attached to.
Okay.
Not necessarily your project site. So if your organization has involvement to the project, then it should only pull those ones.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Rebecca. I believe that's how it worked in the past as well. Because we only have access. Yeah.
So what's the check mark for limit sites?
Okay.
I thought that's what the check mark did for limit sites for organization. What does that do then?
So that's a slightly different thing. Yeah. So the limited sites, there's a button. Yeah, there's a check mark that right here. Limit sites to organization. If that's not checked, you'll get the site level information for other organizations. So it'll still only be projects that your organization is attached to, but you'll get site level information if you don't check this box. If you check this box, it'll only limit to your site. So it's another option outside of adding a filter to your project site.
Okay. And it's sorry, we can save this question for after as well, but is there a way to pull a list of, or, run a query of all projects in Edge that maybe we're not a part of yet as an organization? Like if we're trying to look for, do a bulk look for any trials that already exist that we should then add ourselves to? Or would that just be through searching
The
through
all
the trial
project,
list?
isn't that is the searching all project?
So yeah,
Yeah.
So if you search all projects, there's a download.
Oh, you can
Excel.
download. Okay, never mind. Okay, that's
Yeah,
perfect then.
so
Yeah.
and also you can filter those one for the cancer only, and then the sidebar, there's some filters
Through
that
all the search
yeah.
criteria. Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So once you have all the fields, you can apply more filters to limit your search to a certain project area or project site. It's up to you. So once you build,
So is Stephanie having a question? We cannot hear you well. I hear Stephanie. Okay, maybe not.
it may have just been background noise. But if you have a question, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat. Okay. So once you have created a project forms report, you can save it to rerun later as well by clicking the Save As button. When you click Save As, you have the option to choose a folder of where to save it, or you can create a new folder and save it there. Or you can save it outside of all the folders, but it's better to keep things organized within the reports. So you can create a folder, save the report within that folder. By making it public, it is available to all admins at your site. If you don't have it public, it would just be your own report. But I believe this has changed in version 3. Even though if you don't mark it public, it'll still be available. Okay. You can also, when you go to load this report later on, you can filter reports so that they're only reports that you created. So just quickly find a report that you've created in the past. Yep. Is there character limits to create names? I've tried saving and create before. It didn't work until I made the name shorter, but in public. Yes, there is character limits within Edge. I know for sure there's character limits on file names, so I'm sure it'd be applied to report names as well. Rebecca, do you remember the?
So we
limit?
never come across for the query name there's character limit because you're only using the field. So I recommend you go to the management and go to those field name and like it's only related when you run the report query, it's only related to the data field that you created or the default one. So it should not be over the limit.
I think she's referring to the report name itself.
Oh, yes.
so-
If you go back to the previous slide, if you don't mind, it's that box at the bottom where it says
Yeah.
query name.
Yeah, so the report name, yeah. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that one. You refer to that one. So I think there's no limit, but it's hard to view it if you create too long the name because it's the box is just that small.
So yeah, Casey was saying it wasn't saving when she put the along like a name in.
If the name is too long, it doesn't save for you.
Yeah, that's what the question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
so,
when we in the QA time that we can have you share a screen and then to try it out.
Yeah. I think
yeah, no problem.
yeah. Well, because like I know for sure Edge has the length or like the character limit for file names.
Yeah, file
So,
names, there's
should
some
it-
amendment, but like
Yeah.
whether you allow you not to save or just stop there and ask you to reduce the limit and then save.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can load previously saved reports by clicking the load button. You can also delete the reports within this load query window if you need to reorganize or reduce the amount of reports that you have created. Also for reports, if you load a report and change the filters and want to save it again, you can hit save as again and then change the name of the report to a new version and save that report. You can also save and overwrite reports if that's what you prefer to do by clicking the save button. It'll ask you if you want to overwrite the report. It's up to you whether or not you want to overwrite reports or keep different versions of reports. Okay, so when you're adding filters to reports, there's a couple of different modifiers in Edge. So the first one being is or is not. So when you add a filter, the first option you can do is or is not, and then that affects how the next modifier works. So is equal to will give you values equal to that exact field, or is not will give is not equal to, and any matches that are not exactly what the field is. So is or is not controls the positive and negative of each of these options. Okay, equal to filters that result to show only exact matches to a field. This filter allows you to search for keywords or parts of words and return all possible matches. So if you don't know the exact field or exact name of something that you're looking for, you can put in a partial spelling or a partial match and get the results you're looking for. Empty filters results based on if the data field is empty or not. Less than, this is a numerical field, allows you to search for less than either a set date or numerical figure, and it excludes whatever number or date you put in that field. So if you're looking for recruitment less than 6, it'll give you trials with recruitment of 1 to 5. You can also choose less than or equal to include the numerical value that you put into the field. So in that same example, if you put less than or equal to 6, it'll give you trials with recruitment 1 to 6, including 6. Greater than, this is also a numerical field, allows you to search greater than either a set date or numerical figure. Again, the greater than will exclude the number that you put in to the field, but the greater than or equal to will include that number within the search. Any questions about any of these filter options? Okay. So when you go to add multiple filters to reports, you can also add the and or option before the filter. Adding the or will perform forms reports using either of the filters, but not all, and will perform the forms report applying all filters. So this report can then be downloaded to Excel for further analysis or filtering if the filtering you want to do in the report is too cumbersome to build within Edge. Example of using and or options. So project phase is equal to phase 1 and disease site is equal to breast will result in only trials that are phase 1 breast cancer trials being returned, while project phase 1 is equal to project phase is equal to phase 1 or disease site is equal to breast will result in trials that are phase 1 regardless of disease site plus the breast cancer trials regardless of project phase. So depending on how you use the and or options for the filters will impact the results that you get. So a easy way or a better way of thinking about it is that you can imagine the filter groups being within brackets. So and expands the bracket, while or closes the bracket and opens a new bracket group. So in this example here, we're looking for trials that have a project site name in them, and project phase is equal to, I think that was phase 1, and disease site was equal to breast. And then we're also looking for trials that are equal to phase, I think that was phase 3, and equal to breast. So this way you'll get phase 1 breast cancer trials and phase 3 breast cancer trials. Okay. Report management. So you're also able to manage the reports by sharing them or reorganizing where reports are found within the load window. So under reports, there's the management tab. You can go there and search the query type, so project forms, for example, and then choose a project and share it with a user. This will show up in the user's My Report section, which we'll get into at the end of today's module. So if you click on the report, yeah, so you can click on the report and add a user or add a team to quickly add or share reports with users or teams. Okay, so now I'll go into the system and show you what the reports look like, and then show you some examples of the reports that we use at 3CTN, and then give you some use examples for verification of data, and show how the combo filters can work. Okay, so if you go to the reports tab, you'll have all the different types of reports on the left. You have project reports, participant reports, finance, workflow, audit, site level, user, and the management is where you can go to control where reports are found and share reports as well. Also, if we start with the project reports, project forms report, as this is where we mentioned the customizable reports, where you can add fields and create your own reports just by finding. So if I go project type, I can add project type. I can add the NCT number. And I can put the status as well. So with that, I have a quick report. If I run this now, this is going to give me all the trials I'm involved in. And then I can add a filter for project type if I only want academic portfolio trials. Say I didn't know exactly what the field was, I can say like, and then academic. If I do that, it'll give me all trials that are academic non-portfolio and academic portfolio. But if I wanted to limit it to just academic portfolio, I can copy and paste, or I can type in academic portfolio and say equal to, and then run. So this will give me all the academic portfolio trials. I can also further filter that by filtering the status. So if I add filter and is equal to, I'm going to say is like open, and then run. So this will give me trials that are open to recruitment or open to recruitment and open but not yet recruiting. So if I scroll down. So now I have a report. I can then go and save as, and then save it within any of these reports. So if say demo, I'll say quick forms report. make it public, and then save. Now, if I cleared this and I wanted to get that report back, I just go to load, go to that folder, and then go to my project name here. Okay. Also, when you're going to load, you can limit to your queries at the top. You can also filter by name. But if I try to do that, I think you need to be within the folders. So if I was in this folder, it would filter the quick forms report. So if I go here, say quick, it'll show the report name. Okay. Okay. Okay, so next we'll go back to projects, overview report. If we run, we'll just say April, run. We can see the projects and project sites attached. So this is a quick overview of all the reports and the current status. Notes, you can run notes, reports at project site, project site, and site level. So if you just run, it'll give you all the notes. You can limit to date range. You can look for a certain text and run those reports. And then you can hit the plus button to expand the comments on that note. Okay. Under participants, the accrual report. So if we run this,
James,
Yep.
maybe go back to the project report, that 2 additional report that later we can address. The delegation law report, some of you that might be interested, we can have that session. And also the stakeholder report, it seems very useful too. Because there's a primary, originally there's a primary and there's secondary sponsor report. So now it gives you the option for running that one. So that one is also kind of interesting to get the one that is funder or the sponsor, whether they're primary or the secondary. And even the CRO report, that you can see the CRO report if you put in that information. We don't have the CRO information, so in our report that it doesn't show that one, but if for the site, that might be interesting to them. Yep, that's all.
So for the participant accrual report, this is the report that we use to get recruitment numbers from individual sites for our own reporting, but you can choose the date range. Right now this is showing all sites, not a particular site. I won't go to a particular site just for privacy, but you can click on site to add site or choose a particular project type. And you can limit it to show only my organization as well. This number for recruited is the overall recruited number. So it just counts how many times there was a patient marked recruited within that project. Okay. If we go to the project forms, the participant forms report, we can add certain project level information and any of the patient forms we have created. So similar process as creating a project forms report. You just go into the select fields and select the relevant fields. But now you'll have access to the patient level information, so you can choose any of the participant level forms and fields, plus any of the default patient information that's captured, such as the status dates, the subject ID, and all that information. So one example of the report was the priority patient report that we built for all of our reporting sites. So this one was looking at the project site, looking at AYA and remote access patient recruitment. So we have the site name, short title, subject ID of the patient, AYA patient form information. So are the AYA patient? Same with remote patient, the date recruited, date of remote access initiation, and some remote access information as well. This report is using a combination of filters. So the first filter group. So this first filter group here is looking at remote access patients. So we're looking for remote access patients with a remote access initiation date of between March 31st to July 1st. So this was looking at Q1 of year 9. We can change this date at any point. So this will give us results for patients that were marked as remote access with a remote access initiation date between this date range. And then this filter group down below is for AYA patients. So we're looking at AYA patients that are marked as yes and recruited between March 31st and July 1st. So again, looking at Q1 of year 9. So the reason why there's 2 different groups and not just combined into one is because sometimes there's remote access patients that aren't AYA and vice versa. So if I change this to and, it would look for patients that are both AYA and remote access and only give me the results for those. So that's patients that are AYA and remote access, which that's not generally the case. It's usually one or the other. Sometimes there's both, but we're generally looking for one or the other. Is there any questions about combo filters at the moment? Or did anyone have an experience where they added filters and wasn't giving them the correct results or the expected results?
So the key for this combo filter is the one that repeated. So which field that need to repeat it so that the information can be. So you can see the repeated fields are the academic portfolio type, and then dates are all the same. These 2 combination, the differences is the second row for the remote patients and then the AYA. So when you build your own combo, so whenever you use all, then you need to think about which one that you need to repeat it so that other information got kept, and then the only one the differences is the one that you need to the rest of the brackets of those filter. So a lot of times that you can screenshot one of the combo filter that we use and then analyze which way is the and which way is all. So Jennifer has hands up.
Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. So it looks like if you're using the or, you have to repeat everything after the or. Is that the same with the and or? Or would you only be putting the new information under the and or?
Yeah, so I'll use an example. So for the or starts a new like filter group. So it starts like, it's kind of like another search. So you're creating a new search. So you need to repeat the information that you're looking for. So if I just did, for example, if I got rid of all that and kept the or here.
But it's only and or. There's not the and
Yeah,
or
there's
option.
no and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
there's no
then my
and or,
question
yeah.
is void. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Yeah. So the or basically creates a new search. So you would have to create, if you want it to look for the same information except for AYA, you have to add the filters for the same information, or else it'll just do a search for remote access patients and then patients with AYA attached.
So if without repeating those information, you may get those the academic non-portfolio or commercial non-portfolio AYA patient. By putting, and also you could also get the patients that out of that time frame that they range for those AYA. So it just now, if without those repeating field, then the second run of the search that we will not be so tight, the same information that you're looking.
Okay. There's also safety reports under participants, where you can search for safety events. So adverse event, the different types of adverse events. So this will make any of the SAE or adverse events that you tracked at the participant level, you can run a report on here to see all the SAEs. The monitoring report, again, this is an overall report. So if I run this report, it'll just give a breakdown of the projects with the dates of patients recruited. Okay, current status will show the current status of patients. So I'll give you a breakdown of each of the patient statuses, reflecting the current status of those patients. You can change the date of when you're looking, and it'll show participant figures up to that date. So as of that date, what the current status of those patients were. So it's different than what the accrual report was showing. From here, it just shows the total number of patients that were screened, rejected, recruited, withdrawn. So out of the 187 here, 127 were recruited. It's not showing the current status, it's just showing how many patients had that status of screened or had the status of rejected, recruited, withdrawn. The current status shows you only the patients that are currently in that status as of this date that you enter in. Okay. Jessica, you have a hand up?
Yeah, when you were showing the monitoring report, is there any way to add a date range, or it's just going to show like every patient forever? I guess I'm not.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just all so it's just all participants here. You can change it by the status of the patient. So if you're only looking at recruited, withdrawn, or screened, and you can change the status of the project as well. So if you just want to look at open to recruitment projects.
Like the current status.
Yeah, so you can, if it's open to recruitment, and patients that are recruited, it'll show you those patients.
So if I want to get a report of
Mhm.
like all patients for a certain project.
Yep.
With similar, like their status, who, like date they were recruited, date they were withdrawn exactly. Is there a report for that? That wouldn't be monitoring then.
No.
I'd have to make my own report for that.
Yeah, so the best bet if you want, so yeah, the participant forms report allows you to get all that information. So you can build a report here that you can create one that shows all the currently open projects with patients recruited between a certain range and show all the statuses for those patients.
Okay.
And you can also
Yeah,
add,
yeah, like if I want to, if I want to pull something, say for the last quarter, and I want our team to verify that it's correct, like I need to not just say, yeah, like 3 patients, I want their patient ID, right? So that we can actually confirm. So that would be a build your own. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you can also have the fields of recruited by or screened by. So so you can limit it to certain people. If you're looking for these are all the patients you recruited, you can build a report in the participant forms report to show that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And the final one's appointments. So you can run a report on any of the participant appointments that you have created for participants. So you can limit it by date, projects, who the appointment's with, reason, sites, and by by team and room location. I don't think I had, oh, we do have example. Yeah. Okay. So cost events, you can run reports on costs you've entered in the system, filtered by analysis code, invoice number, and all the cost associated fields. You can limit it by a range, fiscal year. So the fiscal year is from April 1st to March 31st. You can do monthly or a custom range. You can also have the ability to run invoice reports. So the newly added invoice function within Edge, you can run reports based on those invoices. It'll give you a report of the invoice itself. So like the invoice number, the status of the invoice, and then also the costs associated with that invoice. Similar to how the workflow report would run, you have the overall workflow and then the individual steps within that workflow. Okay. Okay, we have 15 more minutes left. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate a verification step that you can do within your system. I'm just going to switch over to the demo environment. Oops, demo environment. So this is going to be a verification for patient recruitment. So I'm just so under reports, there's the participant reports. So this verification is checking for duplications of patients within the system. Sometimes patients get entered twice within a project, either through a import. So if you imported patients one quarter and then you import patients again the next quarter, sometimes there's patients that were added to the list twice. So you may have duplications within the system, or just a user error when entering patients, they enter the patient twice by accident. So the way to quickly check for duplications is if you go to the accrual report and run this report. So let's say for this year. This number here, so this complete number, so the total number here will be the total instances of patients with recruited numbers. So if we look down at this number, so we have a total number here, so equals sum. Oh. So we have 25 patients here. So this is saying there's 25 patients within the system that have been recruited within that fiscal year. If we go to participant forms reports, if we run a report with a short title, subject ID, date, recruited. So when I look at it, recruited, close. Since I didn't add any other filters to the status report, I'm just going to use these filters here. So I'm just going to look at the date range is greater than or equal to April 1st. That was 2023. And then March 31st, 2024. And change that to less than or equal to. So if I run that report, it'll give me all the patients here. So as a verification step, we can check to see how many patients showed up within this report compared to the status report. So if we look here, we have 25 patients. And if we look at our Excel, we also have 25. So that shows that the data is accurate. If the number here is higher, So say this was 27, and the number here was 25, then that would mean that there's duplication within the system, because the way the reports work in Edge, the way that the fields reports work is it only pulls up unique values. So it's basing the unique values are based on the data here. So short title, subject ID, and date recruited. So if there's a patient with the same short title, subject ID, and date recruited, it'll just be combined into one row. So it'll give you one result. Whereas the participant status report will just show you how many patients have the recruited trigger for those filters. So it'll show all instances of a participant. So that's a quick way to see if there's any duplication within the system. Question?
Yeah, so that will sort of indicate to you that there is a duplication. How do
Yep.
you then find the duplication?
Yep. So if I was going to try to find the duplication, I'd download this report. I'll just do this. I'll add a site name. Just going to add site name here. So if I was going to try to find that duplication, I would add site name, run, download this to Excel. Let's open this up. I'll keep that to the side for a sec. And then I would go into a project forms report. Even though the project forms report doesn't give you the actual participant subject ID, you can get the aggregate number of recruitment. So if I go short title, site name, oops, site name, recruited, oops, I spelled that, recruited, recruited total, and then I have project site name, short title. Let's close this for a sec. Yep, so I have project short title, site name, amount recruited. So the filter here, I'm going to limit the recruitment numbers for the same time. So April 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2024. So if I run this, it'll give me the recruitment numbers in total for all the short titles and site names. Again, this is demo information, so it's not actual patients. But if I run and download this to Excel, I mean, this kind of goes into our next week's module, but for our example here, so this is our project form report that we just created. So this is giving us the total recruitment for patients. So I was going to convert that to number. So this is our total recruitment for projects and project site for that fiscal year. And then we have our participant form report. So this is our overall list of participants here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just drag this into the same Excel so that they're both in the same Excel. I'm going to remove any non-recruitment trials. I could have done this in Edge, but I'll just do it here. So I'm just going to filter out all the zeros and delete them. So I'm not looking for zero recruitment. Clear the filter. So now we just have by short title. I'll create a VLOOKUP, or not VLOOKUP, sorry, a pivot table with this participant information. Insert pivot table. Look at the project short title and subject ID. So it'll give me how many patients are within each of those short titles. And then I'll do the same thing for here. insert pivot table, existing worksheet. I'm just going to bring it to the same one. We get into making pivot tables in the next module, so that's why I'm not spending too long explaining the pivot tables, but we do the same thing, create project short title list, and then recruited total. So then you would compare the differences within these numbers here. So if they're in the same order, you can just copy and paste here. So you can see that there's a difference in numbers within the BevDose trial. And then you go to BevDose and look at the patients within BevDose to see which ones are duplicated.
Okay, awesome, thanks. So the project number of recruitments will give total values even if there's duplicates, but the participant will give unique values only. And then that's how you're comparing the two.
Correct, yes.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, so the reason why I generally run the participant accrual report first instead of going to directly to the project report is sometimes it's unnecessary to go here. It's just all the way to this step if the numbers are the same between the accrual and participant forms report. So this step is if there's a difference in numbers or total recruitment, you would go to this step to try to find which project is causing the issue within the patient recruitment. Okay. Okay. I won't say that. Okay. And another kind of data validation step you can do is if you have your project short title, you can add your participants or your project site status. Status. The overall status of the project. And if you add the date open to recruitment, so project site date open to recruitment, and the actual recruitment end date. So project site actual recruitment end date is the close to recruitment date of your project site. So I'm just going to add that in. So I'm just going to get rid of the participant filters. This is unnecessary for this report. Add a site name. I'm just going to limit this to Prince George, so it's a little cleaner. Is like. What you can do is add. You can add a filter here. So project status, project site status is like open. And then if I add project status is not like open, I can run a report to see if there's any variance within the statuses here. So if this came back with any results, it would show that like there would be a project that's closed to recruitment, but my site's open to recruitment. So you'd want to see which ones are incomplete or inaccurate compared to the project status. So you can run those types of reports, or you can run site status equal to open, or is like open, and the open to recruitment date is empty. So you have your status is open to recruitment, but you have no open to recruitment date. So if I run that and they gave me results, then I have to fill in those dates. You can do the same thing with closed. So is like closed, and this is empty. You can run a report to see if there's any issues here. Yeah, in the demo environment, there's not a lot of incomplete data set, but in the real system, there's incomplete data where you can find any missing dates by running a project forms report to see if there's any missing dates compared to the status. Okay. So just some examples of our reports. We do have a trial list. So if we go to trial list, open or active. We have a active recruiting portfolio trials list. So we have a list of all the trials that are running based on the open to recruitment status. So we're just looking at any active trials that are currently running here. Okay, we only have 3 minutes left. Can you share that query, or is it public? You're asking about this report here, Jen?
Yeah.
So we can't. I don't believe we can share reports across organizations, but we do. I think we.
I think we, Jen, I think I already saved the report for all the sites when I set you up. If you
Oh,
go to
perfect.
Go, we have one that's called 3CTN, a reporting folder. If you check that folder, did you see that report? For all the portal users and new sites, I built some 3CTN reporting there. If you couldn't find it, then we can give you a screenshot, then you can
Copy
use
the details, yeah.
yeah, those.
Okay, perfect. I'll
And then
take a
the other
look.
thing, yeah, so the other thing is that a lot of you may not notice that my report, so I add a file to with a screenshot from my reports. Jen, Jen, can you just show them that it's under the if you go to the demo and go to it's very hidden that people do not know. For them, it's under the username. So if you go to yeah, so it's my profile and then there's my report. Unless you have a dashboard to move that one out, otherwise that you can for the one that you just remind them that they can see it under the username, that they can see a lot of useful reports there too. So like the appointment report, safety report, and then the project report, site report, and so on. But one thing is that for the workflow report, it's only for the admin users only. And there are a lot of filters that are also available for them. So for those regular users, that they can use similar method to build their own reports, and also ask them to test out to see what information they need, and they can also save this report and what column that they want to use. They want to have those like the shop title, the type, the status. But clinical trial document number seems like, even though I check, it doesn't show up there. We could ask UK to add that one in.
Yep. And then you have the shared reports. So any of the reports that were shared, for example, they have the reports here. So to share the reports to users, if you go to reports under management, you can select which level of report you want. So for example, project forms report. If I wanted to share that demo report that we created, you click on the folder, and then here, the quick forms report. If we click on the name, we can share with the whole team. If we want to share it with all the users on that team, or you can add a user, and it would show up under that user's my shared reports. So I just shared it with myself. But if I go to my reports now, my shared reports, project forms reports, I can see the quick forms report that I just shared, and I can run that information here. Again, under the reports management, you can also move queries by checking the box next to the query name, move query, and you can choose a different folder. So then that query is now located under a different folder. So when you go to load that report, so if I go to the project forms report, load, if I go to the trial list folder and search quick, that report is now located under that trial list folder. Okay. So the management function allows you to quickly move reports. So if you want to reorganize your reports to a more logical form, you can do so. You can also edit and delete the report name as well. Okay. Does anyone have a report that they're trying to create that's not working, or just any questions in general about reports? We'll stop sharing so that this part will just be, or we'll stop recording. So if you have any reports that you want to share, we can help troubleshoot those reports. If not, you can always contact me, send me screenshots, and I can help troubleshoot filters if they're not working. Rebecca just posted the playlist for the recordings of these refresher trainings. So if you missed any modules, you can go back and view them, but at any time.